AuMEGA Metals is an exploration company focused on the Cape Ray Gold Project in southwestern Newfoundland, Canada. The project sits along the Cape Ray Shear Zone, a major structural corridor that runs for more than 120 kilometres across the island. Quick disclaimer, this channel is educational only and not financial or investment advice. I focus on geology, history, infrastructure, jurisdiction, management, and public disclosures, not price predictions or buy or sell recommendations. In today's episode, we travel to Newfoundland and one of Canada's most interesting gold districts. We will cover AuMEGA Metals, which is interesting because it is not a typical high-profile exploration story. The company already has a defined gold resource, controls a very large land package in Newfoundland, and recently raised significant exploration capital. Yet the stock remains relatively quiet compared to some of the more famous Newfoundland discoveries. The Cape Ray project lies in southwestern Newfoundland near the Gulf of St. Lawrence. The region benefits from paved highways, nearby towns, port access, and power infrastructure. Unlike many remote exploration districts in Canada, Cape Ray is relatively accessible. Exploration can be conducted year-round, and logistics are manageable compared with fly-in projects in northern Canada. Access and infrastructure are important advantages because they reduce drilling costs and improve the long-term economics of potential mining operations. Gold was first discovered along the Cape Ray Shear Zone in the late 1860s. Exploration identified several gold-bearing zones along the structure. However, work was limited due to access constraints at the time. Mining and exploration remained largely limited till the 1970s. A small underground mine operated in the 1980s, producing approximately 20,000 ounces of gold before closing due to low gold prices and limited exploration at the time. Although the early operation was small, it demonstrated that the Cape Ray Shear Zone hosts real gold mineralization. Modern exploration in Newfoundland has surged over the past decade following major discoveries elsewhere in the province, particularly along large structural corridors. The Cape Ray Gold Project lies along the boundary between two major geological terrains in Newfoundland, the Dunnage Zone and the Gander Zone. The Cape Ray Shear Zone is a long-lived crustal structure that acted as a pathway for hydrothermal fluids during regional deformation. These fluids deposited gold within quartz veins and altered host rocks along the shear. This style of mineralization is known as orogenic gold, which forms along large fault systems during mountain building events. Orogenic systems often occur in clusters along long structural corridors and can host multiple deposits over large distances. AuMEGA's Cape Ray project includes several defined gold deposits along the shear zone. The main resource areas include the Central Zone, the Window Glass Hill deposit, the Isle aux Morts area, and several additional targets along the corridor. Mineralization is typically hosted in quartz veins and sheared rocks with sulfides such as pyrite and arsenopyrite. Gold grades can vary significantly along the structure, reflecting the complex nature of shear zone mineralization. AuMEGA has defined a NI 43101 compliant mineral resource for the Cape Ray project. The combined resource currently totals roughly 600,000 ounces of gold at an average grade of around 2 grams per tonne. While this is a meaningful resource for an exploration company, it is still relatively modest compared to many producing gold mines. For the project to advance toward development, the resource would likely need to grow substantially or demonstrate strong economics through future studies. Rather than focusing only on expanding the existing deposits, AuMEGA has increasingly shifted its exploration strategy toward district-scale discovery. The company controls a very large land package covering much of the Cape Ray Shear Zone, giving it the opportunity to test numerous targets along this major structural corridor. Recent exploration programs have targeted areas such as Isle aux Morts and other newly identified prospects that could represent additional gold systems along the belt. This approach is higher risk, but offers the potential for much larger discoveries. From an infrastructure perspective, the Cape Ray region benefits from nearby highways, access to ports, and electrical power infrastructure. The project is located near established communities, which reduces the logistical challenges commonly associated with remote mining projects. This combination of infrastructure and jurisdiction makes southwestern Newfoundland a favourable location for exploration and potential development. Newfoundland and Labrador has become one of Canada's most active gold exploration regions. The province is considered mining-friendly and has seen significant investment in recent years following major discoveries and development projects. Government support, local workforce availability, and established permitting frameworks make the province an attractive jurisdiction for mining companies. AuMEGA Metals was previously known as Matador Mining before rebranding to reflect a broader exploration strategy. The company recently completed a large financing of approximately $30 million, providing significant capital for exploration programs. Large financings are common in the exploration sector and often lead to increased share dilution, which can temporarily suppress share prices. However, access to capital is critical for companies attempting to explore large, district-scale opportunities. One notable aspect of the company's ownership structure is the presence of B2 Gold, which holds approximately a 10% stake in AuMEGA. Strategic investments by established mining companies often indicate technical interest in the geological potential of a project. However, these stakes do not guarantee development or acquisition. They simply signal that larger companies are paying attention. Recent company news releases have focused on expanding exploration across the Cape Ray district rather than solely increasing the existing resource. Programs have targeted new geological targets and structural trends along the shear zone. This reflects a strategy aimed at discovering additional deposits rather than simply extending known zones. For exploration companies, a new discovery can often transform the scale of a project far more dramatically than incremental resource growth. Looking forward, several key factors will determine AuMEGA's future trajectory. First is resource growth. Increasing the size of the Cape Ray resource would improve the project's development potential. Second is district discovery. If exploration identifies additional deposits along the Cape Ray Shear Zone, the project could evolve into a much larger gold district. Third is execution and financing. Exploration at this scale requires consistent drilling programs and ongoing access to capital. Finally, market attention often depends on major drill intercepts or discoveries that capture investor interest. With current drilling underway, it is important to watch and interpret the results closely. AuMEGA Metals represents an interesting case study in district-scale gold exploration. The company controls a large portion of the Cape Ray Shear Zone, has already defined a meaningful gold resource, and recently secured funding to continue exploration. However, the project is still in the exploration stage, and its long-term success will depend on whether the Cape Ray district ultimately hosts additional significant deposits. For now, AuMEGA remains a quieter story within Newfoundland's growing gold exploration landscape. For more company information, check out the company website, and for stock information, follow the AUM.V stock ticker. Thanks for watching. Let me know what project you would like to see next on this channel.